Hey. Okay. Yeah, exactly right. You good? Roll through.
Yeah.
All right, so this is my 1997 Toyota Land Cruiser FJ80. Technically, it being a 97, it's an FZJ80. Um, the FZJ came in at 95 to 97. Anything before that, from 91 to 94, was an FJ80. So this has the higher output 4.5 inline six versus the 4.0. It's got 370,000 miles on it. So we just, as you saw in the previous videos, we just did all that motor work to make it keep running and keep lasting. Um, we just put some 37-inch Yokohama Geolanders on it. So far, we're really liking them. This is the first time they've seen rocks, so but they're nice and quiet on the highway. We're definitely enjoying them. Suspension-wise, it's got a Dobinson spring kit all the way around. We've got their flexi coils. They're a 4-inch lift spring on all four corners, and then I paired those with Icon 2.5 CDCV adjustable shocks. The front bumper is a coastal fabric or weld it together yourself bumper with the hoops. I've got two LP6 lights up on the bumper. They've just got amber covers. They are still clear lenses. Then I've got two Racer Squadrons in the bumper in the middle, and then two regular Squadron Pros on the outside, all ambers. That way I've got some light down low for in the dust. Inside I've got a Warren 9.5 Ti winch. I'm still running steel cable on it for now. Eventually, I'll be going to synthetic. Um, it does have just a regular steel Haas Fairlead on it. I'll change that out again when I go to a synthetic rope. I did also opt for a receiver hitch in the front to help with recoveries. It gives me another option for hooking up a soft shackle or a receiver shackle, or for a snatch block, and just more options in the front. Um, and then walking around off to the side, I've got these Yoda Tech brackets, A-pillar brackets, that I've got some Nacho TM5 lights on, paired with a Baja Design S1 off to the side. Um, really surprised at how much I'm actually liking this side light. It's really nice just to be able to see what's out to the sides of the road when you're taking a turn or something like that. You can see where you're turning, which has turned out to be really convenient. The sliders are fabbed myself. I welded those up, and they're my own design and everything. They're welded straight to the frame. They're never going to have any issues. They're stout. I think they're quarter wall, um, or quarter wall 2-inch tube, so they're thick. Up front, also you can see we've got the free spin hubs. So I did do a free spin conversion on this. So with that, I also converted the transfer case to part time. And while I was in there in the transfer case, I also did the 3-to-1 low range gears to give me a little bit better low range and a little bit better crawling. This is a triple locked Land Cruiser. It didn't come like that factory, so I've got my own wiring harness that I put together to work the factory lockers, but it does have the factory lockers front and rear. So it is a triple locked Land Cruiser. And then with those lockers, I'm at 488 gears right now. And with the 37s, I haven't seen any issues with it yet. And the wheels are true beadlocks. They're a nice method beadlock wheel to go with the Yokohama Geolanders. Coming up next, I'm going to be doing a roof rack on it. I had one for a while. I just had some crossbars that I made myself, and I'm going to be doing a full roof rack here soon. Then in the back, we've got a 4x4 Labs rear bumper. It was also a weld it yourself kit. I opted for the dual swing outs. I did have a spare tire on one side. The other side, I want to do some jerry cans. I might put the spare tire back on, I might not, but I do have the mount so I can take it on and off. The nice thing about that bumper is it's very modular. So these holes down here are mounting holes. They're through holes that you can bolt just a 1/2-inch bolt through, and allows you to take the tire carrier on and off. If I wanted to put a cooler there or a cargo basket or whatever, it gives me a lot more options that I can play with there. Out back again, I've got the Dobbinston flexi coils and then the Icon springs, and I do have a heavier duty sway bar in the rear, along with some heavier duty sway bar end links because they're prone to breaking in the rear. Okay. Then on the inside, I have this little basket right here. I'm using the Delta Vehicle Systems little adapter brackets. You unbolt the factory grab handles in the rear, and then this wire rack just bolts to it and gives you a little bit more storage in the back. Then the eventual plan is to do some sort of a drawer system in the back as well, just to give myself a little bit more storage and make things more easier accessible, easier to get to. So inside here, I've got two Wits End mounts. I've got the Wits End pocket hole mount that I have my RAM mount attached to for my cell phone, and then over here I've got my Switch Pro set up off of another RAM ball screwed into another Wits End mount. That one is designed for the ashtray, or no, sorry, the cup holder. And then I've got Yoda. I think they're Yoda Tech. Might be somebody else. They're 3D printed cup holders up here in the front and in the back as well. I do have a Streamlight holder over here. And then I added some charging ports up on the dash. The eventual plan is I'm going to be doing the Delta Vehicle System center console mount in here. And that will give me a lot more options. So this is just kind of what it's going to be for now until I get to where I eventually want to build it. Everything's built in steps as all projects go. So when I did the taller springs in the rear, I needed to increase the rear link length, because when you make the rear springs taller, you're effectively making the links shorter. So I made my own rear links because it's what I could afford to do at the time. And the tube is 2-inch quarter wall tube, so it's extra beefy. And then I used some weld-in bungs and Johnny joints, all from Curry. The Johnny joints, they actually have a Johnny joint that is the correct ball width and ball diameter for the bolt that just bolts right into the factory mount. So I didn't have to change the mounts at all. All I did was bolt them in. And then on the lower links, I also welded a strip of 1/4-inch angle iron to the bottom of them. So if I ever do bounce them off a rock or anything like that, the rear links will never bend. And I built them bulletproof like that on purpose, just so it's not something I would ever have to worry about. Also in the rear, tucked up where the spare tire is, I've got a 5-gallon air tank and a Via Air onboard air compressor to give myself some onboard air. And then the air tank also gives me the ability to run air tools if I ever wanted to, and also gives me a little bit of reserve capacity for blowing stuff off. Because being down here in the Arizona desert, being able to blow yourself off after a long day in the dust, especially if you're not the first one in the pack, you're always going to be dusty. So you can blow yourself off, blow the rig off, blow any of your gear off. It's just really nice to have that option. In the future, I'll be going to a bigger compressor just to air up the tires a little bit quicker and just make it go a little bit quicker. But for right now, it works great. It's all tucked up underneath there, out of the way. The other thing I might eventually do in the future is delete the air tank to give myself room to possibly do a 4-link in the rear. That way the rear can keep up with the front 3-link that I want to do as well. But those are all goals in the future. We're not there yet. Building it in steps.